This episode is for Friday, December 4th, 2015. Welcome,
Hello.
Crater fans.
Welcome, Crater fans. What is that voice, man?
That's my I'm sick and trying to disguise it voice. I'm your host, Josh Owens, along with my co-host.
Ben Strahan. Hello, everybody.
What's up, Benny?
Sup, Joshy Poo?
Benny Crazy Hair. Do you like how I made your crazy hair image the YouTube image for the last video?
I didn't see it.
Yeah,
Oh.
you should go look.
Okay, I will.
It was one of the three options. So we do like
that is awesome.
we do like a 30-minute show, and like that's one of the images it pulled out.
YouTube did not fail us that time.
The opposite of YouTube failure.
That's awesome.
So
what are we talking on the show today about, man?
I have no idea. I forgot. I made the list on my laptop and forgot to pull it up over here. So we're going to talk about GraphQL and Mongo, structuring your React project, Galaxy Developer Edition.
Cool.
Meteor Dev Shop December. I think that'll be a big talk.
Yeah, it was a good talk. It was a good shot.
React Native and Meteor sitting in a tree.
KISSING.
And Meteor Strike.
Yes.
All right. So you missed all my hand gestures if you weren't watching the video on YouTube.
I wasn't watching just now.
Yeah. You were ducking.
I'm looking at the list.
I tried to punch you.
Dang.
All right. Let's get into
GraphQL and MongoDB. Tell us about that, man.
Yes. So this, to me, is super interesting because I'm starting to dive more outside my comfort zone of Meteor land and trying to learn more about GraphQL and Relay and React and all that kind of stuff, because I think, we'll get to it a little bit later, but obviously it's coming, whether you want it to or not, even if you use Meteor. And so I love that this got posted on Crater. It talks about using graffiti and what exactly? So graffiti. I kind of missed this part. You can use graffiti to add GraphQL endpoints to your web server. Either you can use a schema generated by an adapter, or you can pass in your own. And then they have Graffiti Mongoose that can generate the GraphQL schema from your database schema.
So Graffiti sits on your server side.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what it sounds like, and it hooks into work with Mongoose. And so this is, if you're from Meteor land, which I'm sure a lot of our listeners are. Hey, train. Yeah, so I think, if you come from Meteor land, this is almost akin to like just writing out your simple schema, but then you're getting kind of like this GraphQL interface in here that you can start querying against for your React app. And they go on to talk about how they're working on Relay compatibility, which is kind of like the back end piece that a GraphQL schema would query against, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I don't know. This is like super interesting read. I'm glad people are working on things like this. I think that, obviously, like being able to painlessly create your GraphQL schema is going to be something that's important. And, if it makes sense to kind of do it at the database level, to me anyway. So you can just create like that Mongoose schema and then generate GraphQL off of it, which is kind of cool. I don't know. You're muted.
Oh, I just muted myself, dude. I got these new headphones, and there was this guy out in the hallway like tap dancing with his like banker shoes or something like that, and I had to mute myself. You know those guys that wear the shoes that like you hear them walking down the hallway and you're like, oh, that must be a girl in high heels. And then there's a guy that walks by and you're like,
dress shoes, yeah.
Yeah, that was what just was happening. Anyway, when I was muted, I was talking about how GraphQL is like the future, man. Like this is how we're going to be digesting data, and it's just like it's a really bright future. So, I would say like eat up anything that's like GraphQL. And this just like rolling through it. I didn't read it, but I'm scrolling through it right now, and it's like people who are new to GraphQL, like it's friendly for them. So like you guys can, I can digest it. If I can digest it, you guys can digest it. So go for it, man.
Yeah.
Let's do some digesting.
Yeah. So I mean, you're gross, Ben. If you tuned in last week, I'm pretty sure we talked about like the article that covered GraphQL a little bit. But I think that I don't know. Maybe I'll save some of these comments for later.
There's also, yes, this is right, learngraphql.com by Kadira.
Yes, by the Aeronota team, the Aeronotas team.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yes. Cool.
So
So
tell
by
us, what can we do? How can we build an app with React once we have a
how do we build it or how do we structure it?
How do we structure it? Yeah.
So from the same website, react.jsnews.com, they got another article that we're going to be covering called How to Structure a React Project.
I totally did not notice that these were the same website. Look at them.
Oh, I thought they were giving us money, sponsorship money for this.
No. Crap. Now I got to go ask for sponsorship money though.
Yeah, seriously, 2 in a row, man. But that's cool, man. Like that, they're putting out good content. It's a different writer though, so I wonder where they're grabbing this information from. But it's not that different. It's just like a basic article about structuring your app in a way that favors components,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just modular code, and I don't think it's anything out of the ordinary. And I like how he wrote it though, because again, people who aren't familiar with this could come and read it, and he has a little blurb on building something from an example site that everything's in one file, all the way to an enterprise app that's going to be having components that are going to be digested by multiple views, and so they need to be separated by those concerns. And so he walks through each step. And I don't know. I mean, what stood out to you that like interests you about this article?
Well, I think it's one of those things. Like I think that a lot of our listeners that are coming in maybe aren't fully aware of React and maybe how to work with it. And so, I mean, obviously, if you come at it from a Meteor mindset, I mean, you understand that you can build a folder structure, but this one comes with they've got a link to a Webpack configuration, and they talk about using CSS modules and all that kind of stuff. And so I found it interesting. I mean, this is very, very similar. I wrote an article like this for Meteor as well, and how you might structure it, and it was similar in that you'd create a views folder and kind of structure it based on your templates there, your template concerns. And so I liked it.
One thing that like stood out in this article that I really liked is each step of complexity. He broke it down, so it's not like he was trying to advocate just one way of doing things.
Right. It was like, here's a way to get started. Here's a way to go deeper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I really like it when people approach the problem of how to tackle code or what library to use or how to structure stuff based on the complexity of what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
And that's how he tackled this article. And to me, that's always like a more intelligent way.
Yeah.
On how to teach and how to determine what's best.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely right. Like if you're going to build an app that's maybe 100 to 200 lines of code, you probably don't need like a huge folder structure with a bunch of 2-liner files.
Mm-hmm.
Probably going to be really terrible development experience for you, actually. So,
yeah, and a vast majority of the apps out there in the world would be good enough with just the components in their own directories, and you wouldn't have to be separating the views. There's a vast amount of apps like that. And really, if you're like working with a big team and a huge app that spans maybe multiple groups working on it, like I could totally see then how you want to break it out and like break out your views separately. But again, it's like each level is good only if you need it, because it does introduce another level of complexity that you need to deal with then.
Yeah.
And he explained it perfectly. Or
Mhm.
he or she, I'm sorry, I didn't. Juho. So they
Yeah.
did a great job. They but yeah, definitely. This is good, like even with Meteor, if you're just still doing Blaze, structuring your app, it's the same one. Like this is how I structure my stuff right now.
Yeah. By components essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 Cool.
Speaking of Meteor,
Yeah.
we had an announcement that Galaxy Dev Edition is out.
Well, it's not out,
Well, yeah. Well, yeah. That was
but we did
maybe
that did get announced.
yeah, it was a little misleading.
I'm giving you a hard time. So
Yeah.
yeah.
When I saw it, it was I actually thought it was out.
Mm-hmm.
Seems weird to have an announcement about something
Yeah.
becoming available soon. But
Yes.
we did get pricing. And so it looks like it'll be about $13 per container. Is that what they
Mm-hmm.
said?
Yep. And you could, and it's a half a gig container. Their normal ones right now are 1 gig.
Mm-hmm.
So for the Dev Edition, you have a half a gig, and you can get a maximum of 5 containers. You can start with 1 container at $13 and scale up to 5, but you can't scale past that. Uh,
Right.
I think they're going to like level you up to like the $500-600 a month program, where you have to get 10 1 gig containers from there. So it's definitely like, again, there's like this big gap. You know, you get 5 containers, you might not want to jump up to 10 1 gig containers.
Right.
Um, but um, you know, that's just a little nitpick thing. I really celebrate it. Like, woohoo! I signed up right away. I'm waiting for my invite.
I did too. I'm still waiting for my invite as well.
Hey, yo, MDG, yo, you want some free advertising?
I yeah.
Put us at
I
the top
guess
of the list.
I guess I don't.
They do. Come on.
They don't. They don't. Yeah. So to me, the interesting thing here is that there was so the article I linked to was not actually the announcement of Galaxy Developer Edition like coming out. It was
Mhm.
talking about how the pricing's good, but then you know in typical fashion, the forums tend to devolve into a crazy place.
Holy cow! I'm like reading the title of this forum right now.
There's 96 posts in this thread, and so
What?
there was a little bit of a kerfluffle here.
I stay off the forums.
My word of the day. Yeah,
It's so much drama.
I tend to avoid it when I can now as well.
Holy cow! I can't believe that the title of this
Yeah,
Galaxy Developer Edition pricing is just absurd.
it feels like Hacker News but smaller, right? Like you just get all the bad comments and none of the good. I don't know. There can be some good stuff on there, but I think if people just took some of this energy that they have, um, and do something positive with it instead, like
I'm shocked
world
by these comments.
the world would be like a 10% better place at least. I promise. But Max Hodges pointed out apparently there was some weirdness around the wording of like we don't recommend using developer edition for production apps for a number of reasons. That there's less. One of them was less stability. One of them was no critical support because they only have like a 1 day SLA response time. But to me, like I think for most people that's probably fine. And I don't know why, but they've limited performance metrics and monitoring. So instead of 30 days, you get 5 minutes, which is really crazy too. There's probably got to be some happy medium between 30 days and 5 minutes.
I don't understand why they're doing that though.
Yeah.
Usually
I mean,
people
it probably costs them some storage ability, right? But you know what it is? It's, oplog doesn't scale very well, so they just decide not to deal with it. I'm just
top log.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Um,
That's not new to the developer edition.
n-
Not having a
well,
data.
no, I mean on their actual app, like they have to store that data somewhere in Mongo,
Oh
pull it
yes.
out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
dude. Like, mm, usually an app makes those limitations, like little silly limitations like that, just to upsell you to the next level, which usually isn't that huge of a jump. But in this case, it is a massive jump to upsell into to 10 container.
yeah.
So it's like
You got to
why
start at like $500, and that's if you pay yearly.
so why are people what's up with this like pettiness of like logs and stuff and
Oh,
like
I don't know. Again, I
that's just like kind of
there's an actual support cost associated with keeping that metric data. So if you only got to keep it for 5 minutes, like flush it out pretty quick. Uh,
okay. It
anyway,
is what it is. I mean, it's a pretty expensive service.
so here's the interesting thing. If you click on the link I put in the show notes, Matt DeBregalis jumped in here because Mark Terang, bless his heart, he is a business guy, and he was in there trying to talk about how you shouldn't use Galaxy for production. And Matt jumps in and says, "Listen, it's fine for production, right? And like it's just there are different types of containers." And so he goes into how they're using spot instances versus regular AWS instances, which means like there could potentially be a little bit more downtime as their spot instance prices aren't set quite right. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so, like, they still have a way to deal with that. It's just these spot instances are offered for a fraction of the cost of other AWS instances. But the difference is, like, if someone outbids you on that cost, they're going to shut your machine down and they're going to spin theirs up since they're paying a slightly higher rate. It's kind of like AdSense for like AWS. Whoever bids the most gets the box.
So I don't understand. So if I just have one container, is my app going to be going down and up and down and up?
Potentially, right? Just
Because
depending on
I don't have another container to like.
just depends on what their bids are and that kind of thing. But I think behind the scenes, other hosting companies are doing a similar thing. If you look at Modulus, which I just mentioned, they're a sponsor of the show. Full disclosure, they have Joyent and DigitalOcean and a bunch of other data centers that they run on, and so they'll spin up an instance and deploy your app to it. But you could be on a server that goes down. Heroku's the same way.
Yeah, yeah, but they have auto scaling, and yeah, if you're on one server, then yeah, like it can go down. But how? Okay, I guess the question is like, how
I,
often do you get outbid?
if you're
I
concerned, well, we don't know yet, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not. I've never dealt with spot instances before, so
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Like I don't. I appreciate everything that they're saying here, but for me, like I look at this from a standpoint of Crater. I don't really make any money with Crater. I don't have ads on it. I don't. I run it and try to do the best I can with it because I love this community.
hmm
I love to figure out a way to like make it faster, but I don't want to like pour hundreds of dollars every month into it. And Galaxy
yeah,
Pro plan doesn't make any sense for me.
no,
But
and you don't need that much power either.
well, I don't know. I mean,
It's
I'm
getting
at
there, but
I'm at a 2 gig box on DigitalOcean, so I think I'm paying them like $20 a month right now or something.
and so for 2 gigs for 2 boxes, you'd have to get 4 boxes then.
I'd almost be out of the developer plan, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
you'd have 4 boxes, half a gig each. I could see having multiple containers. It will be able to withstand the spot instance silliness.
oh
Or
yeah, absolutely. I think if uptime is a concern, just go to 2 instances. You know?
yeah, but like you go to 2 instances, that's 1 gig, and you're spending like $26, a little bit more than $26 a month.
Right. But at the same time, like now I got to look
And
DigitalOcean.
then I have to get my Compose DB going. So
Yeah, but I
where am
already
I at? I'm approaching $40 a month.
I'm already at that, Yeah, I'm paying $20 a month, and then I'm paying Compose like $18 a month.
Okay, so like you're gonna like tap on $10 more to go to 2 containers. Well, that's half your size because you got 2 gigs. You'd only get
Right.
1 gig
I'd have to get four, so that's $52
plus Compose.
plus Compose, so $70 versus $38.
Whoa.
But you also get, the 1 day SLA from a team that, if I email DigitalOcean and say my Meteor app ain't working, I don't know. I almost want to, like, I don't think they have that many public facing web apps hosted on Galaxy. I almost want to like go host with them and turn on Spiderbull and then just be like, Spiderbull's crashing my site, and then let them fix it.
Well, then Mark's going to answer your support call. He's going to be like, go to the Pro Edition, man.
Yeah, yeah, terrible, terrible.
We love you, Mark. Sorry.
We
That
do.
was a cheap shot.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Right on.
All right.
Man, I almost feel like I should go on the forums just to like be a positive voice for MDG. Should I do that?
I don't know. If you're there, yes, man, you go ahead.
I don't know about yes, man, but it's just like, man, I just fired this up for the first time in like 2 weeks, and there's like some drama going on.
I think it's been this way for a long time, though.
Right, but I haven't been on for like 2 weeks, and so
Yeah.
Anywho, so next up,
Dev Shop.
Dev Shop December.
Tell
This
us,
is the
Ben.
last Dev Shop of the year, and whoops, I just like fired it up on accident. Don't want to do that. I turned this on and I watched Jeff's talk. Was there a talk before his?
I don't know. I only turned it on when it was time for Jeff's talk.
Yeah, I did too. And then I think I got through like 2 lightning talks and I didn't listen to the rest either. So, which was enough to talk about. Like, this is a big
Right.
one. Like, so customer day happened like 2 weeks ago, and we got the info and shared it with you guys.
Some of it.
And now Jeff came out in this December Dev Shop and then gave the same presentation that he gave at Customer Day, which was closed door. So that was great to like have it open up into the community.
Yeah, definitely. I think they've added a little more. Like they hadn't quite made that commitment to GraphQL, right?
You're right. That was a pretty hard commitment. Like he was talking about, that was the slide when he was talking about what's to come in 2016. They had a really big GraphQL logo in there.
Basically, they had a lot of big Facebook library logos in there.
I don't know if that meant anything. I just think they're doing a lot of cool shit. So
I don't know if it means. I think the only thing it means for me is like if I'm gonna be using all those libraries anyway, because the framework I was using is relying on them, then like I have a feeling like Facebook's gonna do something smart at some point, and I don't know.
Oh, okay. I'm down with this.
Yeah,
I know. We had that little conversation.
we did.
It's funny because like I just recorded the Ben and Abby show, and we're experimenting. We did like 5 shows all at once. We recorded 5 shows all at once. We're gonna like space out the delivery of them.
Nice.
Yeah, they're like short shows. But anyway, the last show that we did was going to be the end year show, and it was our predictions for 2016. Yeah, and so like now this is, I hear you say that, it's kind of like a wild prediction.
Yeah.
Just like
I don't think it's a wild.
Pull it out of the sky.
I don't think it's a wild prediction.
I think it's wild.
No, I mean they're building Relay, they're building Redux, like they're clearly implementing a lot of this stuff inside of Facebook, and I think that developers are valuable to Facebook, and they want to figure out how to tap into that. If you look at like
purchase, do you mean like they want to get developers from Facebook? They want to grow their team by grabbing Facebook?
No. I mean, no. Okay,
that's what it just sounded like, and I don't think that's what you meant.
No, yeah, you're right. That's not what I meant. So what I mean is, if you look at Twitter versus Facebook, nobody runs Twitter ads And frankly, I think, you see a lot of articles about how Twitter's dying and all this jazz. And I don't know. Like, I was a developer that was building a Twitter app, and I got screwed, and my app got shut down, basically by their rate limiting policies. And I was there in early days and had a whitelist account, so I used to be able to make like 1 million calls per hour. But Twitter kind of screwed with the developer community and shut them down, and I think that they've suffered for it. Their platform just isn't what it should be, isn't growing the way they want it to grow, and people aren't buying ads, and that's how they make their dollars, right? Like, follow the money, like you say, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so if you look at Facebook, on the other hand, like, clearly, like, I've bought Facebook ads. My wife's bought Facebook ads. Have you bought Facebook ads?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It is an amazing ad platform. You could like narrow down and target the people that you want.
But,
It's so amazing.
I don't think it's the fact that Twitter lacks that data. I think it's the fact that they just don't have like the same experience. When you type in twitter.com, it's not nearly the same as when you type in facebook.com.
I think Twitter has more savvy users.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's what it is.
My parents aren't on Twitter. But what I'm trying to get at here is the fact that I think that Facebook cares for its developer community, and they build apps that make that a better experience for everyone involved. And Twitter just doesn't really have that as much, And I think by extension that if you have a bunch of developers who use something like React and Relay and Redux and GraphQL and all this kind of stuff, and they're familiar with it and they understand how to work with your APIs, like, they're going to build apps. Or absolutely, they're easier to hire as well, right? If you get half the world developing on all of this stuff, like, that's going to be easier for them to hire people as well.
Okay. So your prediction is, I'm still not clear. So you're saying that
they're going to build a framework or a platform or whatever you want to call it. They're going to come out with something.
Now, do you think that Facebook is going to release an open source version, or are they just going to like provide a service through Parse?
Nope, it'll be open source.
Really? It's not going to be through Parse?
I don't think so, but okay. I could be wrong. I mean, like, why are they open sourcing all the rest of the pieces?
So what's the back end going to be? Is it going to be PHP?
I doubt it. It'll be Elixir.
Oh,
no.
Inside joke.
Yeah.
Jeez. Or inside the club joke.
To me, this really goes back to, like, seeing that slide. It goes back to exactly what we talked about before, where you said follow the money. Like, Meteor has to be a hosting company. So when you do the math, right? Let's just look at hosting companies. You have Heroku. Which open source community are they building? Which, like, open source platform are they building?
They're not. They're through not. Salesforce.
Oh, okay.
Which is like totally closed source. Well, actually, they're not even.
Oh, okay. Well, so let's go look at Modulus. Which open source platform are they building?
They're not.
Oh, they're
Demeteorize.
They actually are with a Salesforce competitor called Progress now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that you have an extra cost structure bolted onto your hosting company in the form of the Meteor platform. It's going to be very, very hard for them to make dollars and turn a profit when they have to pay for infrastructure, they have to pay for support people, they have to pay for a sales staff and business development people, and they have to pay for developers for their hosting platform and developers for the open source platform. That's an extra cost that no one else has, and then it's going to be hard for them to be competitive.
I don't think so. You know why?
Why?
I probably shouldn't chew gum while doing a podcast.
Yeah.
Because right now they're making the right moves. I believe in MDG and the direction that they're going. They are slowly taking their responsibilities and the liabilities that they have right now in these packages that they made, like Blaze, and they are they are kind of shifting it over to then some other open source project to manage.
Sure, and
So
that totally makes sense for MDG.
testing was going to be a huge drain on their resources. It's a huge importance. MDG was candid enough to say, we're not going to pick that up. They have a business plan where it's like they want to have this, like, they just want to have a happy path. So to me, that's kind of like just a nice build tool with some magic in between each of the packages, core packages. And that's what they're going to maintain. I don't think that they're going to have a lot past that. And if they do, they're going to be looking for an open source community to like fill that gap eventually.
So you're saying though you don't think Facebook could put together a small team to build that build tool with a couple pieces of glue in between?
Oh, I certainly think they can, but I don't think they will. Because again, the React and the things that are coming out of Facebook also satisfies Facebook's needs. They're not developing it just for the community itself. They're developing it for Facebook first. And then they're taking those teams that are developing those tools and say, hey, go ahead and like open this up to the world and a wider audience. It's going to make our tool better by doing that. But they're not going to make a whole separate team to build something that's never going to be integrated in Facebook. How many new apps is Facebook coming out with?
Yeah, but
why do they need to build something?
It's silly to think that they might not already be thinking about this. I mean, if you look at like Google and some of the stuff that they've done with big tables and all that kind of stuff, like, or even Go, I mean,
Google is different. And they're changing too. Like they had we're getting way off topic, but they had a radical restructure when they had Eric
when they became Alphabet, you mean?
Well, no, even before that, when they said, Eric, you're not going to be CEO anymore. Mm-hmm. And before, they would sit down with their best engineers and their best product guys and girls, and they would say, hey, what interests you? Do you have a project you want to make? Great. Go off and do that. Don't worry about money. We'll figure out how to make it profitable if it grows big.
Well, no.
And then they stopped that completely.
My point is, like, this is a crazy thing to think about. Like the size of Facebook and the amount of stuff that it does, like saving 1 watt of power per server can save them like millions of dollars per year. Mm-hmm. And so pursuing this kind of thing, like having a better way to write applications that will shave off 1 developer per team, like yeah.
They're not developing new applications.
Sure they are. They're either developing them or they're buying them.
Right, but not a massive amount of them. And not where it's like painful. It's like, they have other pain points. They have refactoring pain points. So they're going to, and they also have like all these different code bases and stuff. So they're going to be looking to make general tools. React is a general tool. GraphQL is a general tool that answers a lot of those problems that they're having. You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying, but at the same time, like I'm telling you, like as a large company, they look at their cost centers and they try to figure out how to reduce them. And
exactly.
I think that if you can get more done with less developers, they're probably going to try to figure out a way to do that.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I'm glad that we disagree. This was a good conversation.
Yeah, it is.
Oh. Don't be sad because I won.
I'm not sad because you lost. Here's.
You know what?
At the end of the day,
you hijacked my topic too.
I did. I knew I was too. I thought about some of this last night. But at the end of the day, how many, like you said something, someone said something about, was it you that said like, I could see Meteor being $1 billion company?
No, they're not going to be a unicorn.
Yeah. No. It was someone in the Meteor Club Slack chat, and I'm like, show me $1 billion hosting company. There is not one out there.
No.
And all of them exit somewhere. So, yes. I mean,
I do agree with you on that. Like, they are in it.
They'll exit.
I am glad that they are minimizing their obligation to this open source platform, by like trying to like Blaze is done. They didn't take on Velocity. I am happy, and they didn't integrate a router. I am happy for that because they need to be real scrappy in the industry that they're in. They picked to be hosting, that their industry's hosting, that's going to be their revenue. They have to be a real scrappy company to survive.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
no, they're not going to be $1 billion. Absolutely not.
All right. Let's
Okay.
move on.
Well, dude, okay, so we got to talk about this though really quick. Jeff talked. Go listen to the video
Oh
of
yeah.
the Meteor Dev Shop. And then I really thought it was interesting, Sashko's talk about
I
Meteor.
actually did not catch that one.
Oh, it's huge. You should totally go see it.
I did go poke around the guide that's there though. I did see that.
I really liked how he framed everything on why they're doing this. So he was saying that there's these two camps. One camp says that, hey, Meteor, you need to be more opinionated, more opinionated, more opinionated.
Mhm.
There's the other camp that says, hey, we like how you are, where you're loosely held to your positions and you give more options to the developer, right? And Sashko came in and said, so this is a lot of the feedback that we're getting, and so here's an answer. We're going to do both. And basically what they're saying is they're going to have the framework be unopinionated, where you can kind of like interpret it how you want and build it how you want if you're in an advanced situation or an app that needs to break out of the norm. But they're going to have this Meteor guides, which is guidelines, not standards. And that's where the opinionated way of doing things will be.
Right.
So if you choose to start off opinionated, you got somewhere to go to answer all that. They're not going to slap your hand or throw errors if you don't do things the way that they want you to do it. But they
Mhm.
are going to give you this guide, this guidance that you want, this official path to take. And
Well,
that is awesome. This is awesome. Like, this is what enterprise wants. They want a guided way, but then they also want to be able to break out. And
the other interesting thing is like, we don't, there's really not much documentation around the rate limiter, and the security articles out there. It's not all the way done, but it's close. And they've got like, they explained how and why you should use the rate limiter.
mm-hmm,
And previously, the only other thing you could find was on a blog post,
mm-hmm.
as far as I was aware. So,
Yeah. In the past, they kind of like post things all over the place too. Like Hackpad was popular for their postings for a little bit, and now they
the
just
quip, yeah.
quip. It's like, how do we find these things? Like, we just like, who's
We
doing these random Google searches? And like,
Rishi, we just rely on Rishi.
I know it's just wild stuff, and no one announces it, or there's no official. It's like
Yeah.
David posts there, Sashko posts there. So I really am happy to hear about guides and their support for it. Jeff mentioned that guides is important to them. And
Yeah.
that they're gonna,
That's probably the toughest piece, right? Like you can send two devs to work on it now and spend, a month and a half of halftime on it and get something out the door.
Mhm.
But things change all the time. Like I'm now sitting on a cache of blog posts that half of them are probably outdated in some way and should be updated.
Mhm.
But I don't necessarily make money off of that, and so therefore like there's just these like posts languishing out there for the community.
Well, and that's maybe something how they can grow their team.
Maybe.
And so, like, the people who are like kind of laying the groundwork right now, they'll become uh, team leads or whatnot, and they like hire their own team, and it's
Maybe.
it's doable. I can see it organically growing. Hopefully, if they meet their growth goals. Anyway, dude, like, guys, go check out the dev shop. It was worth it, especially those two talks.
Yeah.
And then Wiccan was pretty awesome. It's the Trello knockoff. So that was a pretty awesome lightning talk. Anyway, and that's as far as I got with lightning.
Yeah, that was like an extended lightning talk.
It was well deserved, man. It was awesome.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
good stuff. What's up next? Man,
Yeah,
we got on a huge segue there.
we did. Sorry.
Oh,
React Native and Meteor together. Doot, 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 at
holding
last.
hands. It's lovely.
Singing songs. So it's a super short article.
Mhm.
Patrick, I think it's Patrick, about the author. Yeah, it doesn't say his name. P. Munins. Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's Patrick. Sorry, buddy. You should put your full name down at the bottom of your post. But, well, here, we'll click through to the GitHub commits. Philip. Wow, I totally missed that one. So Philip wrote this post about building a small app called Friends, and it's just a React Native app. Um, it looks like they're working on both the iOS and the Android. I see builds for both, but I'm not sure if the Android one is working yet. Let's see. Yeah, because the README was 2 days ago, and the build check-in was 2 days ago. So, but basically, it's a repo, and well, it's a blog post that connects you to the repo, and it's just got a couple pictures. But the repo is the interesting part. It's got a Meteor app, and it's got the React Native app in it, um, and it's not super crazy. Like I like that it's just a small amount of code, so you can kind of figure out what's going on here. There's only one collection for friends. I think maybe the thing that was interesting to me is that even though it was small, it totally punted on like authentication and stuff. So that seemed like the tough thing to do, but at the same time, Differential put an article out about that.
Yeah.
So, but the good part is, you look at the iOS JS file, it's like 105 lines of code, and there's like one call that's like 4 or 5 lines to get the DDP stuff kind of set up. I guess it's about 6 lines total. And then like it's just updating a list view. I mean, again, it's super super simple, but
Yeah. So they just have a DDP client package in there, and they're just bringing in the feed, and they have it. And this is all based off of the good stuff that what's his name? Harrison Harnish from Respondly. He got WebSocket support in the React Native.
oh really?
Yeah, a while ago.
Mm.
Yeah, we were chatting about this like a day or two ago or yesterday.
Yeah.
And I was doing some research about it. I was like, is WebSocket supporting React Native?
Mm-hmm.
I'm having a horrible time. Like well, not horrible, but I'm having a tough time with some Cordova stuff right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so it has me like looking for another mistress or something like that, Hey, what's out there? What's going on,
Yeah.
And so I was like, man, React Native is like looking good. We should probably touch on this a little bit. Also, Meteoric
Mm.
is closed down, is done,
Yeah, you should
which
add
is
add
which
a
is
link to the show notes, buddy.
which is a Blaze.
Port of Ionic.
Yeah, which then goes right into Cordova. So that's closed down, and so now our choices are no
It's
more
not.
Blaze,
It's
but
not closed
Angular.
down. It's just not
No,
being actively maintained anymore.
I'm wording it wrong. Yeah,
Yes.
totally. I deserve that. But you got the regular Ionic with Angular. You got
Mhm.
React with React, and those both are going over Cordova. But do you really want to do that? And then you got React Native. And React Native, and this is a great example of how you can get reactivity natively. And it's not that hard. It is not that hard. Like Josh was saying, like it's pretty simple example that anyone could follow. And that's what makes it so great.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think, the difference, I think, for a lot of people is going to be the React Native like styling. So if you use something like Reapp or Ionic or any of that stuff, like it's just CSS at the end of the day.
uh-huh.
You're getting some smart style sheets that figure out what to do on devices correctly. Whereas with React Native, you've kind of got like this. It's got its own
Well,
style sheet kind of setup.
they use Flexbox.
Yeah.
It's not like a whole new paradigm.
Right.
I guess Flexbox is starting to get popular, but like I've used it before in the past, so like it's not
It's
hugely
just,
different for
I think
me.
it's a little different, not a lot different.
Yeah. There's these little hurdles.
Mhm.
I read an awesome article. Oh, who Elijah posted on Twitter from Space Camp. I don't know your last name, Elijah.
Yeah.
You're awesome. About like a native iOS Objective C developer, and his biz dev guy came to him, their consulting firm, and they wanted to build their next project for Discovery Channel in React Native rather than him just building it natively. And he was like all poo-pooing about it at first and all stuff. And at the end, he was like, I'm not going back.
Yeah.
I'm a native. I'm an Objective C or a Swift developer. I'm not going back. I'm going to be doing React Native going forward.
Yeah.
Because he liked it so much, and it was a good Medium post. Maybe I should send you the link.
Yeah.
On why it's good. But
tweet it. You know what you do? You tweet it. So if you guys really want to see this article, you should be following Ben on Twitter.
Yeah, I retweeted it. So
Yeah.
it's in my feed. It's like in one of the top recent 5 posts. So anywho, this is a great example. I'm glad that Josh that you added this to our list because it's simple. It's not that hard. It's not like some endangered species that you got to go hunting for and you're going to like yak shave. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. So
people have already done it for you. They've shaved all the yaks. You have a yak free path.
Well, you get a path full of like bald yaks. So
for a while anyway.
Yeah. So lick one on your way to the mountain.
Dude, you're weird. I don't. That really went to a weird place. All right, now let's talk about meteor strike.
Did you seriously picture licking a yak?
I pictured you licking a yak. Yeah.
Oh, that is weird. Meteor strike.
Meteor strike. Now you got that stupid McDonald's tune in my head. Great. Yes. So there's a new podcast in town.
Yep.
Our good friends down there in Charlotte, Mark Shropshire and company.
Mark is awesome.
Yes. Tecto. Actually, I don't know who Tecto is. I'm sure I do. I'm sure I've met him. I will say I'm sorry for that. You're not coming to mind.
For those of you who haven't known Shrop or Mark, he was on one of our recent Meteor Club podcasts.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We talked about the
four episodes back.
Paid packages.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So he is not new to podcasting.
No, not at all. But they're kind of working on something new down there called HB5, and they're opening up some co-working, and part of that is, they just want to be more involved in the community. And so they put together a quick podcast, a podcast that's a quick listen. And, they, what are they? 8 minutes and 50 seconds for the first one and 11 minutes and 18 seconds for the second one.
So roughly 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is a great time.
Which is the opposite of what this episode is.
Dude, just because I like talking to you, man. What, you're silent for that? You expecting me to respond?
But no, they focus on covering packages, Meteor packages.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's their initial focus, and they're just gonna have little bite-sized episodes on Meteor packages. And the first one they cover is browser policy. I thought it was great.
First one is community makes us great.
Yeah, well, the first one that covers a package.
Oh, okay. Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right. That's all I got.
That's all I got. Guys, so go listen to Meteor Strike. It's available on SoundCloud. You're going to enjoy it. And I assume that they are going to be on iTunes and whatever.
I'm pretty sure they are. Actually, I know they are because I got on Overcast and added them.
Yeah.
Need to actually start running again. That's when I listen to podcasts.
Cool. Rock and roll.
Yeah.
Do anything cool this weekend, bro?
Gonna have a bunch of 10 and 11-year-old girls over hanging out for my daughter's birthday.
So you're gonna have like painted nails?
I'm not. No.
Dude, that's so weird. My daughter just had her birthday December 2nd.
December 5th is mine.
Oh yeah, that's so wild, man. Yeah. So we are gonna be celebrating her birthday next Thursday. We're going to like that trampoline place. Do you have those out by you? Ultimate Jump or something like that?
No, I don't think so. I mean, they have places you can go and like harness up and jump on a big train.
Yeah, but you're having a sleepover for them.
Yeah.
Wow.
She's turning 11, so it's like right on that cusp. Some of her friends are like 9 or 10, and their parents are like, "Yeah, she's too young for a sleepover." But so I think it's just like 2 or 3 friends that are sleeping over.
Still, give you props, man.
She's got like 5 or 6 friends coming to hang out for the whole night, though.
They're going to be so loud and giggling, and oh my gosh.
That's why I've got these headphones here with the noise canceling. I'll just come in here and watch a movie or something.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. Cool, man. All right. Well, as always, this is the Creator Podcast.
Indeed. Ooh, I'm going to have such an exciting announcement next week, too. You should definitely tune in for that or pay attention to Creator. It's going to be
I'm definitely going to be here now. I'm excited. I don't even know what it is.
Yeah?
So I better show up.
Being here? As always, if you want to help support this podcast, the other podcasts, and Creator, you can go to Patreon, patreon.com/Meteor Club. And you can sign up there. $10 a month gets you the awesome prize of joining Meteor Club Slack chat, where you can come make fun of Ben all the time.
You guys totally beat me up this week too.
No, it wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that bad, no.
You were all like, Elixir, no. You look like a deer in headlights or something.
Anyway.
All right. Thanks for tuning in.
Away from me. Yes.
Talk to you next week.
Have a good time. Bye-bye.
This video has been a Meteor Club production. You can find out more information about Meteor Club and join the mailing list by clicking on the Meteor Club button below. If you enjoyed this video, you can also hit the subscribe button below and get more content like this. Thanks for watching.